Hi, lovely yogis. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. It's raining here where I am in Charlotte. So I'm really excited. I am going on a little vacation for 6 days. And I am totally looking forward to taking time for family, for myself, and for Kendall. And we are so looking back to coming back and just in time for the 21-day challenge, which starts on April 12th. So, as you imagine, with a little vacation comes with indulging, and it comes with just being free and experiencing that part of life, which it's amazing. And so today I want to talk about transformation and how transformation, the action of for example, this challenge becomes a catalyst for something deeper. We have this concept that we teach in teacher training that is about how the physical self is more than the physical, is the emotional, is energetic being. And when we touch we touch the physical, say through the asana, it has an impact on the energetic being and also has an impact on the perspective of the being. The same thing when we touch the energetics, it has an effect on the physical and on the perspective, and or if we are looking at the perspective, it has an impact on the other two, energetic and the physical being. And so the asana has a way to transform how we see, and it has a way to slow down the way we experience life. Going into a 21-day challenge is the opportunity to change, affect our perspective, maybe start to see things in a different light. Additionally, nutrition is a huge component of the transformation. A couple of things before I go into that nutrition piece. It's taken me a long time, 44 years, to begin to understand my metabolism, this body that I've been given. And well, it has not been easy, just because my body has a tendency to respond really quickly to poor eating habits. What that means for me is that I can balloon like that in a week. In 2 weeks, my body's out of control. And or when I'm really diligent and I'm mindful of what I put in my body, I also have the ability to reduce kind of like the volume. And so I don't want to say the weight part because I haven't weighed myself in a very long time. But I just notice it in how everything fits, how my face looks. And so I've been through periods in my life when I've been really focused about the physicality, and that's before I started to understand the energetics and the perspective, and really focus on the physicality, because that was just my way to interact with the world that is feeding me, giving me feedback that I need to look a certain way to be accepted, to have maybe credibility, right? So we can go through that entire idea of what it is like to interact with our peers in a professional or in a friend environment. But then, as I had to deal with a lot of emotional things in my life that were happening, I realized that I couldn't do it all. And so I couldn't do a lot of the physical focus on, just eating and doing and driving physically. I had to really focus on my mental and my emotional state. And what I realized is that my body has a way to protect myself. And it does that in the way that I just gain weight, and it's a shield of protection. I did a little bit of a talk about last week about dancing with our shadow and what it means to dance with our shadow. And so dealing with my emotional state is an opportunity to really look at the shadow side of the parts of me. When I start kind of looking a little bit more voluptuous, what is it like to love myself in that light? right? But we have to deal with the shadow side, because we have all these things that, emotionally the world is feeding us through media and through the way things are marketed. You're not whole, you need more, 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 more. But then looking at ourselves in that true light, what is it like to love my arms? What is it like to love my hips? I have a big round bum. What is it like to the proportions of my bottom side, and how does that help me interact with the world around me? And so in those moments when I had to really deal with my emotional self, there was this catalyst of growth exponentially, and I saw myself and my metabolism as a real tool to come back to what is whole and what is meaningful for me. And so, even in that very roundabout way, I did become body positive, but I also realized that health is important, and to cultivate health, there's also moderation, and there's also eating habits. And also, when I don't eat well, I do feel a lot of inflammation in my body. So it's kind of dual side. I love my body, the shape it is, but there's also this inflammation that's happening within me, which is also pointing me to be moderate and to have a more balanced way of being. And so this is where this 21-day challenge comes about. It's not about losing weight. It's not. It's maybe dancing with the shadows of how we see ourselves, and what is it? What are we trying to do with I'm going to call it experiment. What is experiment about? So for 21 days, starting April 12th, we are looking at a dense nutrition. What is it like to eat densely nutritionally, right? How much greens do we actually have to consume to have all the nutrients in our body, so we're not triggered to hunger, we're not triggered to all this crazy stuff that happens in our heads when we are malnourished. So what typically is the result? It's a leaner body. It's leaner mind processes, less complication, adding simplicity into our lives. But it takes time. It takes, if you've been off the rails for a little bit, coming back onto the road takes the same amount it takes you to walk out off the road to come back into the road. And so I'm inviting our community, everybody, and if you don't know me, off out of our community, to join us. And you can register for an info session. It is on our bio. There's also our website. You can go to our schedule and you'll see that all the info sessions happening. And so seeing it as a big experiment of what happens when we look at our shadows, what happens when we see the opposite side of the shadow, what is it shining back to us, right? We cannot see the light unless we see the dark side, and vice versa. If we only focus on the dark side, then we can really see what it feels like to be on the other side and feel light. Can we bring those two into being, and maybe adding equanimity and less duality to everything that we do? Everything is bad or good, or bad or good. Can we be neutral? So you'll be guided through the challenge. Amazing nutrition, amazing supplements. Everything is already planned for you. Your days are planned, your menus planned, your recipes are done for you. All you gotta do is do you, drink water, practice, and see how you feel. Last thing, I am super excited. I have put this out into the universe for about a year. I've been wanting to teach yoga in Spanish, and I'm from Mexico, but the crazy thing is that because I train to teach yoga in English, I haven't really had an opportunity to, and where I teach to in Charlottesville, Virginia, of course, I haven't really had an opportunity to teach in Spanish. And so my good friend Kristen Ray, she's in North Carolina, she is leading the programming for a nonprofit called You Call This Yoga. And so we're partnering with them. They offer a lot of classes in Spanish, and so I am be teaching at 8:30 in the morning Saturdays in Spanish. It'll be available on the studio website schedule and also through the organization itself. I am so excited because I can finally call my mom and say, hey, finally, I'm teaching yoga in Spanish on a weekly basis. And if you know anybody that wants to learn Spanish, what an amazing way to learn Spanish, through kinesiology and kinesthetically getting to know yourself in that language. And even if you don't understand it, I think Spanish sounds beautiful. I hope you have a lovely afternoon, and I hope to see your beautiful faces at the studio. And namaste. Bye.